Welcome to today's episode of the Blueprint Podcast, where we throw out the old blueprints so we can learn to become who we were always meant to be. I'm your host, Jason Smith, and if you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button and share this podcast with your friends on social media and tag me in it at JBirdFit. On today's episode, we have Kelly Siegel, is the CEO of National Technology Management, author of the book Harder Than Life, who carries the mission and vision to make a dent. Kelly is a cycle breaker who overcame abuse, addiction, poverty, and continues to inspire others through his social media presence, public speaking engagements, and is committed to paying it forward through mentorship. So what's up, man? What is National Technology Management? What is that all about?
We're a national managed service provider. So that's what they call, basically a fancy name for an IT company, but we really focus on cybersecurity. So I'm going to shamelessly plug my book, but if you look, there's our logo. It's our shield. I wrote the book Harder Than Life, and it talks about this was supposed to be for my customers. I was sitting during the pandemic, and I'm like, I just got to get all of this healing out of me, and I wrote it in a book.
That's awesome.
And when I published it, the publisher said, "What are you going to do next?" And I said, "Nothing. I'm going to hand this to my customers." They said, "This is way too good to be just that. You got to start a podcast." I started a podcast. Then I started doing daily videos. Now I'm getting picked up on larger podcasts. And now I just got off a pitch with the Today Show. And it's like, oh, I didn't mean to do all this. It's just it's apparently being harder than life is not easy.
Yeah. Well, when you step into authenticity, those are the things that just seem to happen, right?
I take it a step further. Is not only I don't know any other way to be. I've survived chaos in my life, brutal, savage beatings from my, and I don't the authenticity. I don't know how to lie. It's not worth it. So I take it a step further, and I add a lot of vulnerability and a lot of love. The vulnerability is the toughest thing. When you grew up the way I did, putting your heart out there to get stomped on, and it's not easy. No, or else everybody would be doing it.
Right.
So I just find it things get so great when you're vulnerable.
And so what does vulnerability mean to you? Because there's so many different definitions out there right now. You've got Brene Brown. She kind of redefined it a little bit with her new book. And then you've got all these other influencers out there and creators and people that are in that masculinity space that define it a little bit differently. So what does vulnerability mean to you?
Being in alignment with your true self. And it's not speaking your truth or the truth. It's just being in alignment with yourself and being trusting that the universe is going to receive it. I'm a big fan of Brene Brown, not into the amount of wokeness, but that's what I love about this country and what we can do. And I love what's about the world is you can disagree with people and still agree with a lot of their message. And I agree with this. And I think that people should have a right to do what they want, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on being vulnerable and bringing us together. United we stand, divided we fall. And I think she does a brilliant job of explaining feelings and vulnerability and shame, and really she overall message of get in the arena.
Right.
How many people avoid everything and they live their whole life without living a single day? So Brene I'm a big fan, and I take the message and the things that resonate with me and I leave the rest. And that's what the world needs to do. It's like, just because I don't agree with everything doesn't mean I don't agree with her. And she's just a wonderful human who has so much. And a big part of the Harder Than Life was me finding myself after I decided to quit drinking alcohol. What does she do? Most of these people that are tremendously successful have, slowed down or given up alcohol.
Right.
Is it a coincidence? I don't know. You drink?
No, I got away from it.
You look fantastic. How old are you?
44.
You look fantastic. You can tell you take good care of your mind and body.
Well, I appreciate the flattery, and you're going to get a dose of that as well. Kelly, welcome to the podcast. We don't know each other, but the algorithm put your content in front of me, and I knew that we just had to connect. The first thing I notice about you is that you're a guy that's in great shape. You take care of yourself. I had to give your content a shot. It's what drew me to you. And as I was going through your content, it showed that you just don't disappoint. You give so much of yourself in your content. You're authentic with everything that you do, and you're inspiring people by sharing pieces of your story through this process. So I want to thank you for doing what you do and welcome you onto the podcast. If you could just tell people a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what your mission and vision is.
First of all, did you see me squirm? I still get a little uncomfortable accepting compliments and accolades.
Right.
First of all, let me tell you, thank you. I received that fully. A very hard thing for me to do is to receive love. I grew
Yes.
up very, very abused, physically, emotionally, unsafe. I wrote about it in my Harder Than Life book, and I've spared no punches. And I did that not for it to be the woe is me, but to create awareness and vulnerability that, hey, man, there's a lot of people that have gone through this. And what you do with that is how good your life's going to be. 40 or 30 years of drinking to mask it didn't work. So I decided, well, let's try something different. I'm stubborn and hard headed. So I figured, hey, let's try the opposite of what I've done.
Right.
And oh my God, Jason, life got insanely better. It got very, very dark. Then the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, source tests you when you make a major life change, where it's going to throw the kitchen sink at you and say, do you really want this? And that's going to separate the people that really want it from the not, because most people will quit and give up. I'm not most people. I am the buffalo. I'm going to run right into this in the proverbial storm, and I don't know any better. And I'm going to come out the other side. I'm an unstoppable force. And it's just, I don't know any better. I wake up and I want to win, and I will do anything within honesty and integrity, around the parameters of honesty and integrity, to not only win, to thrive, and to help others. I've never seen anybody ahead of people or above people not look back and help. You're not going to sit back and pounce on people. It's just not who I am, and I don't think anybody is like that. And by the way, I do want to acknowledge the algorithm is amazing. Lately I've met some amazing people. I met Ryan Alford. If you haven't met him, he's a great guy. He's on the Radcast. That was just a social media thing. Boom, we connected. We're fast friends. I call them forever friends. Nice. Something tells me, Jason, I consumed your content like you did mine, and I love it. The Avoidant Style. I've read all the books. I can tell you right now, growing up the way that I grew up, if you're avoidant, I will find you. I am a magnet I used to be a magnet. About a month ago, I was working on some EMDR therapy, and something broke loose in me. It felt like the weight of the world. And now when I can spot an avoidant a mile away, and I tend to run. It's hard. I'm triggered. I'm still attracted to him because, I just want to heal that childhood trauma. I want that Kelly to get the love he needed from his mother. And I keep running to these avoidants and running to, I can provide all the love I need right here. And it is the hardest. It's the simplest thing, but it's hard. And you keep doing it.
It's what we're used to. It's what we grew up with. It's what resonates with our nervous system. And so people often get confused when I say, as you heal, you will no longer be attracted to that type of behavior. And what I mean by attraction is it gets pulled into what you're currently doing right now. Those things start to come to you. It's what you attract into your life. And as you heal, you begin to recognize the signs and symptoms of the things that are happening in front of you. And you're like, you know what? That's not attractive to me anymore. I don't like the way this feels. I don't want to go through this experience again.
The familiar misery, my friend.
Yeah.
Familiar misery.
Absolutely.
We just keep freaking going over it, because instead of the unfamiliar joy and happiness, we just keep going right back to the freaking the proverbial stove that the hot stove, and it's a definition of insanity. And I did it for years and years. It happened so fast I wouldn't even know. And now I can I can interrupt that. But it took a lot of violence to get this love to get softer. And I'm talking 4.5 years of constant struggle, grind, grit. And as Brene would say, I'm in the arena every single day. And that's why you resonate with my content, because it's true. I say the things that most people don't want to say, that they don't want to deal with. And then I'm getting murdered on social media right now because of the last few reels. I activate something in somebody. I am the worst mirror in the world. And that's why as soon as the part about is how I vibrate in this world now, the high vibration, that the avoidance come to me and realize right away, oh, heck no. He's going to expose me in a second. What did somebody say? I was talking to an avoidant friend this morning, and she said, you're an interesting human. I just said, thank you. I know not to get in such a conversation because what makes me interesting? Because I healed myself and I do this weird thing where I deal with my issues and I don't run from them. And I don't hide them underneath the rug. Hey man, I have just the same feelings and triggers and limiting beliefs. I still think that I don't deserve love, which drives me insane, but I'm working on it.
Well, people see you do the healing work and they become threatened by that because they compare themselves to you. So if you're able to do all of these things and make these improvements in your life and to be the person that you want to be, and you allow yourself to be the authentic version of you, that means that they can do it too. And it's too uncomfortable for them right now. They just haven't hit that point where they're ready to step into that uncertainty.
There are no coincidences. I needed to hear that today. Thank you. Because it's amazing. I've never, prior to making this rebirth, doing this rebirth, I was a magnet for everybody. Everybody attracted to me. Everybody wanted to talk. Now I'm a magnet, but for the right people. But there's a lot of people repelled from me. Because over my social media, you can hear me get called every single name on earth. Now, it's about probably 10,000 to 1. Like, I just looked on this last reel, there were 8,000 shares and forwards and 1,800 comments. And out of the 1,800 comments, probably only a few hundred were negative. So,
Right.
and here's another thing that, listen, you know this better than I do, but I'm sharing it with your listeners is we tend to focus when you're coming up, focus on the negative instead of the positive. It's insanity.
I still do it. I can
give me a trick.
I can get all the positive messages in the world, but that one person that comes through and hits you with something that just you start to question yourself. I immediately go into, well, is that true for me? Is that something that I need to take to heart? Are they telling me something about myself that I'm not observing? How can I fix this? How can I change this? What can I do different? How can I please you? And we grow up as these little people pleasers trying to make sure that everybody's okay. Then you just realize, we have over 250 some thousand people that follow across platforms, and you're not going to please everybody, and people are going to be upset. And that's okay, because you're in integrity with your message and you're helping people, and your intention is really what matters.
Full vulnerability the other way is my stepfather used to just, everything was negative. And I catch myself all the time going, oh, no. I'm not going to follow down that road. He always focused on what you weren't doing versus what you were doing. So it's, I'm surprised the book isn't on your thing, and it might be the measure the gain. A lot of people, that's a great book. So basically it just talks about, we focus on what we don't have, not what we do have. And it's just a quick and easy read, The Gap and the Gain. And a lot of times I'll just real quickly go, oh, hold on a second. Just because I don't have this avoidant girl in my life doesn't mean, look at me, I'm healed. I am happy. I am in my Florida vacation home with people, surrounded by people that love me. I was in the middle of the ocean in waist deep water, crystal clear water with a downpour of rain where we were just living really your best life. I had a non-alcoholic beer in my hand. People were getting drunk, and it's like I'm playing with house money, or they don't even realize how good life can get. And that's the thing, is I ask myself this all the time: how good can you handle life? And it just keeps getting better and better and better as I continue to build my mind and my body. And they're both one and the same.
In 2007, you and Liam Neeson walk into a bar. Sounds like a classic setup for a traditional joke, but it was actually a pivotal moment for you. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, first of all, it was the full moon party in Copenhagen, Thailand. So you have to fly like 22 hours to get there. And then you got to jump on a plane to go to a different part of Thailand. Then you got to get on a boat to get to another part of Thailand just to get to this full moon party. There's a Netflix where these guys go around the world doing it. So fast forward to this moment you asked me. There's a backstory to it. So this is like 10 o'clock the next morning. So we were sitting doing shots of tequila, and we were literally holding each other up. And he doesn't drink either anymore, by the way. I just found this out. So I'd like to reach out to him. I'm going to get him on the Heart and Life podcast and see when his aha moment was. But so we got to this party. About 10 of us went to this party at, I want to say 10 o'clock the night before. And we'd already been drinking for hours. So 12 more hours of drinking and doing drugs. And I'm still waiting. We're killing time trying to get to the after party, which is at noon the next day. And I'm doing shots with Liam Neeson. My buddies all walk up and they're like, do you realize that that's Liam Neeson? And I was like, nope. I'm just sitting next to him for hours at a stand-up bar in Copenhagen, Thailand at the full moon party. And it was just one of those moments. And the whole time I was there, I'm thinking, I'm going to die. I got to stop drinking. And I got to. And I wish I would have stopped. I was 30 years old at that moment. I didn't stop till I was 43. So luckily I wasn't forced to stop. I didn't hit rock bottom. I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got tired of the hangovers. I got tired of losing my car. I got tired of losing my money. I just got tired. Really, truthfully, since your people are big into relationships, I got tired of the women I was meeting. It was chaos. Like attracts like. And I just, no amount of women or booze could give me the love that I didn't get from my parents. Now I give it to myself. How good can you handle life? And it keeps getting better. It's insane. The opportunities that are being presented itself, the people I'm helping, the people I inspire people to not drink every day. And that's that. I just want them to live their lives. Face your fears, live your dreams. I say it all the time.
How does alcohol keep you out of integrity? What does that mean? When you made that video, I thought that was so interesting, and I'd love for you to expand on that.
Oh my God. You do and say things that are out of alignment of who I'm trying to be. I am kind. I am loving. I am honest. And I'm very compassionate. And when I wake up in the morning and I was like, oh my God, what did I say? And what did I do? I wasn't even close to being my best self. I was an embarrassment. And that wasn't all the time. Everybody's like, oh, you learn to control your drinking and be moderation. Listen, this wasn't every night. And I didn't drink every night. But there were times where it was out of control. And I'm a big guy and I'm heartbroken. I don't feel like I'm loved. So what would make me feel like love? It's like the Good Will Hunting, though, where Will Hunting gets into a fight because his boys have his back. What made me feel love was getting into a fight and having my boys have my back, or causing some havoc and nobody being able to stop me because I'm so big. That was how I felt love. And then I'd wake up in the morning like, oh my God, why did I do that? So it's just the stupid things you say and you do. And I wrote about it in my book, man. What do you drink alcohol because you're wanting to feel something or not feel something? Well, how about I manifest that internally? I want to feel love, peace, clarity, and freedom. Experience that by dealing with your demons.
And when you grow up in chaos, as an adult, you look for similar chaos in all the different areas in your life to feed that part of you. It's almost like a void that you have to continue to fill over and over again, and it'll get depleted over time, and then that's when you get involved in a fight with your buddies to back you up so that you can feel that love again and feel connected to something.
Well, that's what happens with an anxious avoidant attachment style is the
Yeah.
anxious is come love me. Avoidant runs, and they're both doing the tug of war, and it feels like love. I'll tell you one more. When you heal, you get it's tough to get comfortable being comfortable. So when things aren't chaotic, I'm like, what, Jason? What's going on? The rug's being pulled out from underneath me.
Yeah.
And because I've lived in chaos my whole life. Now, I've thrived in chaos. Now, I will tell you, if the proverbial poop hits the fan, nobody's better at it. I that's when I get my best. Get on my back, let's go. But I'd rather stay out of it. And I make decisions with daily habits and routines, and just saying no, that keeps me away from that. And that's how I've achieved my peace and my freedom. The moment I meet somebody that isn't contributing to my peace, it's just a no for me. Sorry, I'm not available for that.
Now, I love that you don't shy away from talking about therapy, how it's helped you, the different modalities that you use. What does it mean, though, that thoughts are magical lies?
Ooh, that was a good one. That I got that from. Is that one of the Buddhist monks? What's the one of the famous Buddhist monks? Sadhguru. I can't remember which Buddhist monk, but what it is um, that is your inner child, your ego, specifically. And I'm going to butcher this, and you're much smarter, and you can. I'm going to say what I mean, and then hopefully you can extrapolate and make it sound brilliant. Remember, I only play a therapist. I'm an IT guy by trade. And I'm just getting into this personal development. So this one is it's your inner child and your ego working together to keep you safe. And I got a newsflash for you. So I'll give you for instance. I never had food as a child. So whenever I get hungry, I feel like I'm going to die. Well, here's a newsflash. I make a lot of money. I have plenty of food. I can walk into any restaurant and buy anything I want. Magical lie in my head is you're going to die, Kelly. You need to get food. So a lot of times too, if somebody doesn't choose you, because I know you're big into the anxious or avoidant attachment. A lot of times when somebody doesn't choose me, an avoidant runs from me, I feel like I'm unlovable. It's a lie. It's a magical lie. And I talk to that inner child and I say, hey, what did you need at that? What do you need at this moment? And I steal from every different modality, whether it be EMDR, whether it be talk therapy, whether it be hypnotherapy. And I say, what did you need? And I talk to them. And I'm able to keep the triggers from spiraling into, wanting me to drink or wanting me to numb or any kind of toxic behavior, scrolling social media, porn. There's a bunch of things that people do and use to not feel their feelings. That's why I love Brene Brown.
But how do you
I mean,
combat all of that? It's so hard because you have this craving, you have this desire, you have this need, and it's internal. And how do you get rid of that? How do you manage it?
one thought at a time, one thought at a time. And I wish that I could take a pill and just have it go away. But the truth is, multiple times a day, I'm dealt with a trigger. So it's like working out. You strengthen that muscle by continuing to exercise it. So I get triggered, I address it, I communicate with it. Sometimes the trigger is so large, I got to use 5 different things, which is a gratitude walk. That usually works. Sometimes I got to grab a cigar. That's my one vice. I cigar and just to get my mind off things. Meditation, or journaling, or literally just going to the gym and just pounding it out, man. That's why I'm a big boy, because first of all, my stepfather beat on me, so nobody's ever going to beat on me. And then owning a company and having these feelings and having these thoughts for 30 years, I go to the gym and these naysayers that are blowing me up, thank you, because I tell you what, you provide. I work really well when somebody tells me I can't do something. impossible only describes a degree of difficulty. So if somebody's going to make fun of my work ethic at the gym and think that all I do is steroids and I get bigger, come work out with me. I've worked out with the best of them. I just was messing with Ryan Alford, and he'll get a kick out of this. I said, whatever you do, don't try to keep up with me in the gym. And I said, I'm not trying to be a hard ass. And then he watches me just grab the freaking 50-pound dumbbells and just start repping out freaking curls. And he goes, oh God.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, I'm not going to keep up with you. That was years and trauma coming out of me, that just aggression and just, I am enough and I deserve to be here and I want love. And if I build this physique, then I will be loved. And man, I'm just getting it, I don't think I've ever said that out loud.
Yeah, you really touched on something there, because how do we help ourselves feel like we deserve to be here, and that if I build this body, then I'll be loved? It's really hard to reconcile those things. And I think every gym goer goes through that exact thought process.
It's not only just gym, it's money, it's power, it's things. But truth be told, it's emotional intelligence and being able to talk and deal with those triggers. And that's the person that's going to be rich in life. Someone that is emotionally intelligent and knows how to channel thoughts, feelings, and triggers into positivity. And that's what this is going to sound arrogant, and it's the first time I've ever said this. So that's what I've pretty much mastered. Do I still feel the triggers? Absolutely. 1,000 times a day. Do I still make mistakes? Yep. Got an avoidant I'm talking to right now. Know that it's the wrong freaking thing to do. I know it.
But you're still doing it.
Shut up. You know what? You just want to be. It's like writing the book. You want to be there for that person because you wish somebody was there for you. At least that's how I feel. I wrote the book for the kid that needed help. For this particular avoidant, just wish somebody would have been there for me. And you know what? I won't put my neck out. I won't get the involvement. And I said this yesterday. I'll answer text messages and I'll take phone calls. I'm not reaching out. So there's a healthy boundary, in my opinion. Now, I got to make sure to keep things at arm's length, because hopefully I can model the behavior. This is all for other people. Yeah. The Harder Than Life brand, after it pays for itself, is going to donate to charity. All the profits and proceeds are going to be divided up into 3 different charities. So I'm not doing this to buy another house. I'm not doing this to buy another jet or a jet. I don't have one. I don't need anything else. My footprint is very small. It's funny how you stop drinking and expenses drop. It's weird how that is.
It's amazing how things change.
Yeah. And I go to bed and I get good night's sleep and I make more money because I'm not hungover or tired. So I have mastered that, how to get myself out of it. I really do. And I don't spend much time there. I try to spend more time in the present, being happy, being joyful. And I've seen myself lately smiling. When you see me smiling, and preferably that little smirk, because I'm always up to something. And that means I'm living life and I'm in alignment. And I want to be in alignment. That's all I'm looking for. I don't need more money. I don't need more followers. It come with doing the right thing.
Now, you're somebody who embodies "let your mess become your message." And that's something that Dean Graziosi says all the time. And it's something that really resonated with me, because we look to help the people that we used to be. And so with your book and everything that you have going on, who inspires you, and what keeps you going through all of this?
What keeps me going was my will to live, the survival. Because at any given moment, I thought I was going to die. And that's not a magical lie. That was truth. My stepfather drowned, beat me. My mother almost killed me. My sister saved my life. She pulled my lifeless body from my mother beating the living crap out of me. So the will to survive is strong in all of us. So that's what gives me the drive. And then the second part of the question was,
what or who inspires you?
So the who inspires me. being present, I get inspired by a lot of people. I'm inspired by you. I'm inspired by social media. I'm inspired by the negative Nellies who berate everything I do. Inspiration comes easy for me. I have a knack of turning a negative into a positive. And I said that, Jason, and my heart just freaking skipped the beat. I have a lot of positive now. Being in this space, and if you're authentic and you're genuine, you leave with love, you get new friends. I mean, I got your cell phone, buddy. I hate to say, you're going to hear from me more and more.
Good.
I love it. If there's anything I can do to help you, I just read that book that's behind you, How to Do the Work. That's the blueprint right there. That's the blueprint. And one of the things that resonated with me and her in that book was how she had hid her childhood trauma. She buried it, didn't know she had it. Those are the scary ones because they think they don't remember it. It's been so buried in their subconscious. So I hate to shamelessly plug that book, but I'm looking right at it, and I just finished it like 2 weeks ago. And I run into a lot of people that say, "Oh, I grew up a perfect childhood." As a matter of fact, the last 2 women I talked to both would fight me if they said there's some childhood wound. There's some wound, but they're avoidant as the day is long. And it's like, you don't just grow up and become avoidant. Something happened. You are afraid of feeling love and support. Get out before that happens.
Now, that can also be like the yellow flag in relationships is when somebody says that, right? Oh, my childhood was great. What's that?
You ain't gonna stop with that, are you?
No,
just rub it in. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Because I get these comments all the time, no, everything was great. I don't have anything wrong with me. There's nothing that was going on in my life. And we ate dinner every night at 6 p.m. and my parents were wonderful. Everything was amazing. Yet you're in your 30s. You can't have stable relationships. You struggle in relationships and the relationship that you have with yourself. And at some point you have to start. There has to be that catalyst for change. And usually it's something that involves pain. It's just like it wakes you up. You're driving down the road one day with the truck windows down. You don't have the radio on and the breeze is just coming through and it hits you. And it's like, I'm the common denominator in all my life's problems. And there's something that needs to change. There's something in the background, in the subconscious that I need to figure out. And then you get the book, How to Do the Work, and you start diving through it and you're like, and it wakes up all these different versions of you that have existed your entire life. You've got the child version, the adolescent version, the 20-year-old version, the 30-year-old version. And each one is a layer that you need to tap into and figure these things out for yourself so you don't repeat the same patterns over and over and over again. And it's like, well, now we got another solid 50 years because we live till 95, 100 these days, right? I plan on living that long. But now you've got 50 years left with all this knowledge and experience that you've now gained and the self-awareness. What can you possibly do with the time that you have left? A whole hell of a lot. And that's the place. And that's why we do the work.
I say my life, I'm 47. So my life is probably half over. I plan on living to 100 as well, maybe 120.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? But my life is half over, but it has only just begun. Literally. I feel like I just started living because all the years I spent masking, I wasn't living. And I put a post out there that went absolutely viral where the worst day sober is better than the best day party. Bar none. So I'm glad you said that, but I'm going to ask you to say it again for your listeners that it's a yellow flag if somebody says they didn't have any trauma, because in Dr. LaPerla's book, How to Do the Work, she mentions it. But no matter, every time I say it, that everybody has wounds. You say it in your elegant way for all the cheap seats.
Well, the thing is, there are people that grew up in a secure environment, right? They know how to co-regulate with another person and talk to people and relate to people on a level that, it's very kind, it's genuine, it's authentic. They set boundaries, they communicate their needs, wants, and desires. Those people do exist. It's just we will always resonate with who we're currently being. So I'm resonating down here where I'm going to find somebody else that's also in and around this area with me. And then we're going to have this really chaotic relationship because we both haven't elevated our frequencies, right? We haven't worked on ourselves. We haven't grown the self-awareness or cultivated the self-love to actually be in relationship with one another in a way that is more meaningful than trying to manipulate each other to get our needs met in some way, shape, or form. Because the anxious is also avoidant and the avoidant is also anxious. People get confused when we say these things, but the anxious person is avoiding abandonment and rejection, and the avoidant is avoiding having that intimacy with the other person. It's actually a threat to their nervous system and to the way that they feel, so they run.
I just
That's
love
hard.
it. I just learned that the other day that I had avoidant in me. I just learned it, and it was in a
It's
therapy.
more of a spectrum.
It's like a puzzle. It literally
Yeah.
is. And if you would just lean into each other and both say, "Hey, we're going to stay in this mud, and we're going to shower each other together, but we're in it," that would be the quickest way through it. Instead of changing partners, and changing partners.
Right.
And you went to what I said. My first chapter in the book is self-awareness. That's the first thing. Stop lying to yourself. Stop looking out the window. Go look in the mirror and be real. And then start making decisions. Oh, I was always self-aware, but I just would say, I'll deal with it when I need to deal with it. And just one day, I just said, okay, the time is now. And I set my drink down. Ooh, Nelly, things got interesting. So, but here I am 4.5 years later, and it's only just begun. I've only just begun about what I'm about to do for everybody.
What are you about to do? What's the next step for you?
Well, like I said, we're working on some national appearances on TV to get the Heart of the Life message out.
Nice.
I'm going to push my way into some larger podcasts. We have some amazing guests coming on the Heart of the Life podcast, which is available on iTunes and Spotify. That's the viewership is going up, and we just shot 50 new videos with the social media team yesterday to inspire and agitate. We've got
and agitate you will.
We did agitate because I was full of venom with people. Again, you come at me and you poke the bear, and you're going to get full thing. But emotionally intelligent responses and not reactions. I'm never going to get into a fight with a naysayer because I really understand them. I've been that person. I understand that they're hurting, and if in person, I would just give them a big hug. And most of the times I'm like, I thank you. I love you. And I'm sending you positive vibes. And I do. I literally, I say that hope. Have you heard me? Hope, open, hope. I love you. That's it. That's brilliant. I didn't realize I used to say that when I first, that's what kept, I didn't use AA. I went cold turkey to quit drinking. I said that I read the book and said that saying, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Over and over, probably 1 million times in the first 6 months to a year of not drinking. And boy, there were days where it was hold on tight. I mean, my big body and curled up in a ball crying because, Jason, I went 43 years and not dealing with any feelings. There was nobody to talk to. And all of a sudden, every feeling in the world hit me. It was insane. That's why I understand. I get that that's why I would always advocate for AA or NA. Reach out and get help, man, because I did it stupidly. It worked, but I'm stubborn. Don't do it my way. That's the only time I'm going to tell people, don't do it my way. The rest, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about.
Because that really is the hard way.
Yeah. Oh, I'm shaking thinking about it. There's support systems and but I would have fought you if you said I was an alcoholic or a drunk, which I still struggle with that, because if I really was, the first step is admitting you're powerless over alcohol. I don't think one walks away cold turkey if you're powerless over alcohol. Did it fricking have a hold on me? Did it have a fricking bite on me? Yep. The beauty part about a crutch like alcohol is the person you want to become, the person, like, so when I used to drink, I would become this larger than life, happy go lucky, funny, jovial, smirking, smiling joker. What have you seen so far? I'm that person without alcohol. It turns out I'm more of that person.
Right.
So that's what we should all aim to achieve. So I thought I needed alcohol to become this person. No. That was keeping me from becoming that person. So, and again, it wasn't all the time. I mean, it just the trap. And I watched my parents it's what you learn. I saw they came home and had a drink. So I would come home and I would be cooking dinner and I would pour a drink. Oh, I earned that drink. The next thing you know, it's a spirals to it takes 2 drinks and then 3 drinks. And that numbing doesn't work like it used to. And then you look and it's costing you thousands of dollars a month. And luckily, I didn't get any trouble. I didn't get any major trouble. I didn't get any trouble with the law. I didn't get a DUI. I didn't get nothing. So, but if I look back, the universe, God was sending me signs. I mean, I almost got killed. I've been shot at. I've been stabbed. I've been run over. I put myself in so many stupid situations. How about a full moon open in Thailand? Out of money. My phone wasn't working. I didn't care. It's just stupidity.
Yeah, it's the setup for the Hangover 3.
Dude, honestly, the Hangover 2, I went to every place that the Hangover 2 showed. The rooftop bar where they arrested Chop. We had dinner there. The strip clubs, we were there. All the resorts they were at. I was there before the Hangover 2 came out. It was pretty cool. And so we did the Hangover 2, and believe me, I was hung over. I would have a badge of honor. It's only a hangover if you stop drinking. Stupid. Just don't. And the brilliant part about it is if you listen to Andrew Huberman or Jordan Peterson, they got some amazing statistics on really the poisonous of alcohol. I honestly had no clue, but now I don't need it. I'm crazy, happy, fun, loving, kind, compassionate person without alcohol. And I understand. I'm more aware of things, and I can feel you, and I can feel my people. And I did a post like you ever seen the Ron White special where he says, I hug everybody and I'm just looking for the bar. That's literally what I used to do. And I used to drink Macallan because I was a big Ron White fan, and I actually met him a few times. He's a good dude and hilarious, but it was just in pursuit, never in the present. I was in pursuit of the next party, the next woman, the next drink. Then I was always in transit, in purgatory, if you will.
Yep. And that's exactly what it feels like, is you're stuck in purgatory and you can't get out of it. And we get conditioned to say, well, man, I had a hard day at work, or, this one thing happened, man, I really need a drink. And it's like, stop yourself there. Do you need it? Do you want it? And what is your purpose for having that drink? And what are the results behind that? Those are things that I would ask myself because over the years, it just became less and less. It was just something that I didn't do. I wasn't really thinking about it. It was just something, well, I'm building up my home gym. I'm taking care of myself. I'm focusing more on working out. I'm growing my garden. I'm trying to eat better. Right. And it was this shift because I was getting older, right? You're getting near 40. Well, I better do some things that are going to be healthy for me. But then what I realized is that there was still that idea in your head, that craving, where something stressful happened and you would say, man, I need to have a beer. And it's like, well, no, I started questioning that. I'm like, I don't need to have a beer. Where's that even coming from? Why would that pop into my head like that? And then eventually you beat that and it doesn't exist anymore. And now you go to bed at night, you sleep well, you wake up early, you do all these things, you feel great. And, that's mid-40s for you. And it's awesome. And I wish more people could experience that.
I got to tell you that what you just explained would happen faster than that. So the moment I would feel something to the moment that there was a drink in my hand was warp speed. I wouldn't even know. It was so ingrained. And now that's how I attack the gym every day. Before I wake up, before I even come to, I'm in the middle of gratitude, saying the things I'm grateful for. I'm already putting on my gym shoes, my shorts, and it's become so ingrained into a daily habit. It was so ingrained in my life that to stop that literally took violence.
And so
And
what does your morning routine look like? I'm interested.
oh, I take a beating for this too, because everybody has the funny thing.
No,
Oh,
you're going to take a beating for anything that comes out of your
one
mouth. So
fifteen, and I do it. No, I get up at 4:15, a 15-minute gratitude meditation, and get myself centered for the day. And then I pop out of the bed, and I live and die by caffeine, as you're drinking coffee right now.
I'm actually drinking cocoa.
Oh, that's cute. So
Not hot chocolate, but like cacao powder.
oh, that's cool as can be. And I want to try that. So
Yeah,
I
it's good.
walk into my bathroom and I got a coffee bar. It used to be a Scotch bar, by the way, in my bathroom. So I've converted it, and I make myself a quick espresso. I give myself a fist pump in the mirror, little Mel Robbins,
Right?
love you.
High
Boom.
five habit.
A high five habit. I think that's
Yeah,
up there too, right?
it is. Yeah.
I can barely make it out. So you're brilliant. And then I brush my teeth, get my gym clothes on, and freaking out the door to go administer justice. I try to get into the gym and start lifting weights by 5. Lately, I've been switching it up where I do cardio first, 20 minutes of cardio, and then I weight train. I get back home and I do my journaling. I shoot my morning video, my morning inspirational video that I'm going to share on my stories to get people think. It's kind of like a Siegel saying, if you will. And I go and get my daughter up. I shower, and then I get my daughter up. I cook her breakfast and get her ready for school, drop her off at school, go to the office. And the whole time I'm eating and drinking coffee to feed the beast. And I'm fortunate enough that I get to schedule my day so I get to pick my daughter up from school. So I notice I like to drop her off and pick her up. And then we do our homework together. And then we cook dinner together. We do our chores, whatever we have to do. And then we'll read. I feed my mind. I end it with more gratitude and go to sleep. Rinse, repeat. It is boring. But
I think it's amazing. I love that gratitude is a massive part of what you do. It's in each portion of your day as you go throughout the day.
when I was drinking, I never stood still long enough to appreciate anything. And
Okay.
granted, I achieved financial success while drinking, um, but I would piss a lot of it away on traveling to go drink more. Full moon party, and that was I spent an ungodly amount of 5 figures of money to go that. Um, so yeah, I spent a lot of time, and it's the simplest things. Some days, I grew up so poor that I had to go steal bags of chips from the store to have something to eat. That I wake up. There's certain days I wake up in Florida, my Florida house where you see me right now. It's on the water. I have a boat, a pool. I'll wake up here and I drive and I fly home into Michigan, and I go to that house, which is a big house with a pool, and I wonder, thank you, thank you. I I flew on an airplane. I didn't have to worry about food. And it's most of the times it's my cat next to me. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for my daughter sleeping in the next room. I'm grateful for it's just simple little things. It doesn't have to be, I'm grateful that I have money, or I'm grateful that sometimes it's just, I'll say this. It's good to be on this side of the dirt.
Right.
I'm alive. I woke up today. There's a lot of people that didn't. It doesn't have to be. And I just try to stick to 3, just 3 in the morning and 3 at night.
What's been your secret to success? What do you think has been the driving factor that has brought you to the level that you are today?
That's a good question. I would tell you that I don't think I've never said this too. Pain. Pain drives me.
I, I say that so often and people give me so much
Really?
shit for it, but it's
Never
like
said that before. It just popped into my head.
pain, it's your tolerance to pain. So when you grow up in a chaotic environment, you have a very high tolerance and threshold for physical, mental, and emotional pain. And so, in order to make a shift, in order to make a change, in order to find that catalyst within you or externally to you that inspires you enough, that motivates you enough to break free from that, you have to go a little bit beyond your pain tolerance before you finally go, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like the way this is going. This is not the life I envisioned for myself. And it's time for a change.
So I'll take it a step further, and I will tell you since I've stopped weaponizing pain, I feel like I lost my edge. And what I do is you're laughing because it's resonating with you. So
no, it's true.
Now what I do is I surrender, and I'm becoming God curious because something has been looking out for me. Now I believe in God. I believe in source. I believe in the universe. I just have a struggle with that God is in alignment with me. And but somebody's doing something because I shouldn't be here. And I'm much appreciative of it. And the surrendering and just allowing everything in my life, Jason, I have pushed to achieve, from financial success to every relationship. I've chased every woman. And I thought that was a badge of honor. My first logo for my first company was a bulldog. That was a badge of honor. Surrendering, vibrating high, and magnetizing what I want is very uncomfortable. Very. I needed that. I thought I've gotten here by putting that chip on my shoulder and proving people wrong. I'm going to show you. How dare you doubt me? And this is how I'm going to achieve love. Easy, big fella. I'm going to relax. I'm going to do the right thing single day. I'm not going to sit around and hope it happens. I'm going to do the work, and it will happen. But it is uncomfortable, man. I want to go beat on doors to grow my IT company. I want to go jump on a freaking dating app to find the woman of my dreams. Hard, Jay. It's hard. I sit back and it doesn't, dude, I tell you, we just passed the 4th of July. I don't know when this is going to air, but I was out with a big group of friends in the ocean, loving life. And I came home and I spent the evening alone. And I'm like, whoa, I'm alone. I would love to have somebody with me, but I don't want to have somebody with me that just to have somebody with me. I want somebody there that makes my life better, that enhances my life, that pushes me to be even better. Because with the right partner, with someone who is like-minded to me, the sky is the limit. I'm going to do it regardless.
Right.
But man, it would be nice to have a true partner in crime, or soulmate, or life partner.
And this is where I talk about having a shared mission and vision. And we don't use that type of language when we're talking about relationships in 2023. To actually know where we're going, what we're doing, why we're doing it. We're setting an intention. We're in this relationship. I'm not going to entertain other relationships. I'm in this with you. We create interdependence, which, for those of you who don't know what that is that both of you can go out into the world. You can experience the world, do your own thing, be your own person, live in authenticity, and know that your partner isn't doing anything nefarious behind your back. And you're going to come back together in the house later that evening, share your day with one another, and continue to build, expand, and grow together. That is what relationships should look like. That's interdependence.
You just blew my mind. Interdependence is, what do you need for interdependence? Vulnerability. We need to be vulnerable and just say, I trust myself to get hurt by you, but I trust that you won't. So that's scary.
But if you hurt me, I know that I can't control that. And that it isn't saying anything about me as a person or my self-worth or who I am. And I can't take that personally, because that's something within you that you're going to do. And I can't stop you from doing that, but I can say, I know I'm not doing that. And I'm showing up in this relationship as my full self. And as long as you can do that, then whatever the outcome is, you know that you did everything in your power to be who you were supposed to be in that relationship and to show up for the other person.
That's brilliant. But keep going one more step, and I'm going to add to it. It's knowing that it is having the self-trust, the self-love, and knowing that if that happens, you're going to be okay. If I do all those things and my partner decides that they don't want to be in this relationship, guess what? I'll rebuild myself. I'll be okay. It's putting yourself in hard situations and being able to trust yourself that if that happens, you're going to be okay. And that's that fear that people that drives people to stay in situations that they shouldn't be in.
Well, we have this scarcity mindset. And I always say there's always another relationship. There's over 8 billion people on the planet. There's always going to be another relationship. But we get caught up in all this, they're my soulmate. This was meant to be. And it's like, okay, but it wasn't, because they weren't showing up as the way that they should in the relationship. But as a matter of fact, they hurt you several different times throughout that relationship, and then it ended. So the best course for you is to accept the breakup, accept the relationship ended, and allow yourself to heal from that, and just recognize that you're going to be okay no matter what. And there is going to be another relationship out there for you, but it's going to take a little bit more growth on your end so that you can begin to resonate with that new partner that's out there for you.
I got to tell you, it's when you do go far along the healing process, and this is my opinion, this is just I'm 2 years single, and I meet people and they like don't believe that I live the way I live. You mean you don't drink alcohol ever? Like, what about when you're on the boat? I don't drink. I was out with somebody on St. Patrick's Day and a whole group of people, and I took a bunch of people on my boat and we went bar hopping. I'm one of those weird people. I'll go to bars. I have zero desire to drink. I can be around people, and I love people. So I go meet everybody, and I'm a big guy, so everybody wants to talk to me, and I love that. And especially we were here in Fort Myers Beach, which is a touristy town. It was so packed. So there's a lot of freaking mixing bowl of people. I'm meeting people from Ohio. I'm meeting people from Nebraska. I'm meeting people from California. I love it. I want to meet them all. And the next day, everyone's hungover, and someone says to me, like, "Oh my God, I'm so hungover." I said, "I didn't have a single drink yesterday." And they're like, "You didn't? You were all over at the bar." Yeah, that's me. That's what I used to do when I drank. But then I would say and do stupid shit, and I would be embarrassed. Now I don't say and do stupid things, and I actually leave people in a better place than I found them. So having said that, in the 2 years, I scare more people away, but I know that that's just what rejection is redirection, and they're not meant for me, and it's hard. I've never gone 2 years in my life with anybody ever telling me.
Well,
No.
and they're not rejecting you; they're rejecting themselves a lot of the times, because they can't live the way that you're living. They don't see themselves being able to do that. They think that this is something extremely extraordinary, and it is to some degree. It is amazing that you can just cut that out. You're not doing it. It's not a part of your life. You don't want to have those experiences. You recognize it's not serving you, so you stay away from it. You abstain. And that is so hard for people to fathom, that you can do that, because it's a conditioned response. They're conditioned to accept that this is just the way that life is. It's also socially acceptable. And if you don't do it, then you're some sort of pariah. But I feel like in 2023, the collective is shifting, and more people are leaning towards sobriety and staying away from alcohol and substances, and really just starting to show up for themselves and to create and cultivate those better relationships.
Yeah, because being coherent and being present, you get together even better. I love what you just said. I love you. We're gonna hang out. I'm gonna come to you and we're gonna hang out. But they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting themselves. That is brilliant, Jason. Thank you for saying that. And I tell you that that's so true. And I'm one of those. I hate to say this because not everybody is authentic and as genuine. There's no kinks in my armor. I'm not sneaking drinks, taking gummies. I'm not chasing women. I'm not watching porn. I don't. I literally I have 3 books. I'm on vacation that I'm reading right now. I've already worked out. I've already meditated. I've already journaled. When I'm done with here, I'm going to go out and smoke a cigar and relax in the sun for a little bit and be in my mind and my thoughts to recharge for when I get back to the real world on Monday and grind. So I'm the real deal. And I'm looking for a unicorn, and eventually God will send her to me.
I love that. What 3 books are you reading right now?
I just finished Nicole Perla. I just finished The One Truth. John Gordon knocked it out of the park with The One Truth. Brilliant. Yeah. He's coming on the Heart of Life podcast too. Shameless plug. Sorry.
Love him. No, awesome. I love John Gordon.
He's the first person that I ever got into personal development. I read the Energy Bus, and it was,
Right.
and I showed him a post that I posted like 13 years ago. I was plugging the Energy Bus. So there was a book, and I can't remember the name of it. I just bought it. It was about communication, and it was a gentleman that was on Ed Milet's podcast. You asked me a couple of questions too. Not only do you, I do listen to podcasts. When I'm working out, I'm listening to Ed Milet. Sometimes Andy Frisella, a lot of Lewis Howes, and who's the monk? Why am I forgetting the Buddhist monk?
Jay Shetty.
Yeah. Jay Shetty. They're on repeat. I don't miss their episodes. I re-listen to my episodes to see what I can do to get better. I want to get better every day. And you see, I get all excited and I interrupt, and I just, God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth, and I just want to listen, learn, and love, or listen, love, and learn. I keep repeating that to myself. I write it how I end my journal entry every time. Gotta listen more. So I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. So communicate anything I'm deficient in, I read about it. So and I'm reading this other one. It's something about I don't even know. I met a coach in Michigan, and he recommended a book, and it's about the masculine male. And it's like certain things I probably don't need to read. It's red pill versus blue pill. And it's like, come on, man.
It's the rational male.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, so I do have some kind of stupidity thing. I do have weird quirks. Once I start a book, no matter how bad it is,
got to finish it.
I have to finish it. And I'm a hardcover book reader. If we were at my house in Michigan, you should see I have hundreds of books. I get through about a book a week. This one, grinding halt.
Yeah.
So it was, what I struggled with too? Jordan Peterson's book. Whoa, that guy's so smart. He's way beyond me.
So I listen to a lot of audibles just for that reason. I tend to learn better from an auditory standpoint versus reading. And sometimes I'll get both the audible and the book, and I'll listen to it in my headset and read at the same time. And that seems to give me better retention.
That's a brilliant
overall.
idea.
It's not my idea. It was Alex Hermosi. I heard him talk about it, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. And sure as shit, it works.
Yeah, I am a learn it all. Literally, I might be addicted to that as much as working out. If I had my druthers, I'm here in Florida by myself. I don't think I've turned one TV on the entire time I've been here. I'd rather read.
No.
And I love it. Because I don't remember everything. I can't remember freaking Jay Shetty's name.
Right.
But yeah, constantly reading. I love it. I'm addicted. I want to feed my mind. And then that's after listening to 2 podcasts at the gym this morning. I get a lot of listen, there's not new content out there. Anything that I'm saying, I've heard, or, like you said, who was the saying that you said, you brought up Dean Graziosi saying. I didn't even know that Dean said that, but I'm sure I heard it somewhere.
Right. You listen to anybody in the personal development space long enough, and everybody kind of regurgitates what everybody else is saying, and they might phrase it a little bit differently here and there. But
I find Mel Robbins to be very unique, like the high five, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. I find her very relatable. She's brilliant to me, but I also find Brene brilliant. But then there's Andy Frisella, who is just angry.
Well, he's passionate, right? And that's the whole thing with this. And I need people to understand this, is that you can read things that you may completely disagree with, but there's always going to be a lesson that you can extract from each individual book that you're reading. And it's why I read them all the way through, because there's always something I'm going to learn from somebody else. And when you allow your personal feelings to get into this stuff, you put up a wall, you block yourself from being able to allow things into your experience, but then you miss out on a lesson that could be extremely valuable to you. Maybe not this month, this year, but maybe a year or 2 from now, maybe 5 years. You're like, I read that somewhere. This is helping me now. And then you can use that.
What you're saying is to be open and available.
Yeah, there's always value.
If more people were open and available, you're going to learn. We're brilliant people. This life and these brains and this body is just, it's out of this world. It's just cool, man. If you let it, it's really, really cool.
can you see it as a gift, right? Like we're here right now. You don't know how long you're going to be here. And we allow all of our troubles to permeate everything in our existence, everything that we experience. But what if you just started making that mindset shift of this is a true gift. I get to be here. This is amazing. I look forward to each day. What am I going to do today? God, show me how amazing today can be. What can I learn today? What value can I provide to other people today?
So there's two things that I heard a long time ago. One was it was on Aubrey Marcus's podcast. It was memento mori. We're all going to die. Realize that we're all going to die. Number two is I don't know where I even heard this one. I may have said this one. We only wait. We say we only live once. It's that's not true. We live every day. We only die once. People got to realize that. Oh, and when you waste a day in negativity, you're not getting that day back. So, and when you waste that day drinking and drugging, you're not getting that day back. I'm going to ask you a question about cannabis because we're in Michigan where it's legal, where you can walk in and buy any cannabis. I do believe, I agree with you. I think Huberman and me and you and everybody, I ask everybody that comes on my podcast if they drink, and almost 100% is no. I do believe in 10 years it's going to be a lot like smoking a cigarette, that people are going to be like, disgusting. You drink? Oh, sick.
Right.
But I believe that cannabis is offsetting a lot of that. Gummies, and whatnot. What is your take on that?
I mean, I can certainly see that being the case, but again, it's not something that resonates with me, former law enforcement. So it's not something that I'm really going to dive into. It doesn't interest me. I don't like the smell of it.
That's why they take gummies now. It's amazing. But you want to feel anything now? Look, I am in IT business. We service a lot of dispensaries. So I learned all about it. You want to feel down, you can take a gummy. You want to feel up, you can take a gummy. You want to sleep, you want to have more sex. Where do they come up with this stuff? So it's not something I partake in. I just don't want to see people trade one vice for another.
You can also do breath work, right?
What is that?
So this is a Boss Booten tool where you just put it in your mouth. It's a O2 trainer. It's got a flap on this side. On the other side is a hole. These things come off and they have different sizes, so you can change out the hole. You can use it while you're walking. There's a couple different exercises you can do with this to improve your breathing by strengthening the intercostal muscles and your diaphragm. And you'll end up working your upper abdomen as well. And you'll feel it over time as you use this. It's amazing. But you also notice it's an O2 trainer, right? So you're going to end up increasing your time in the gym, your ability to not gas out as fast as you used to. That was, I got it on Amazon. The price is this.
You text it to me, please?
Yeah. The price is the same on Amazon and their website. It's $56. So
yeah, text me the link to it, please, because I want to try this. Wait, I'm gonna learn it all. What else you got for me? Wait, because I want to know your daily routine, because it isn't apparent on most of your posts. It's all about the relationships and the avoidant ones. Priceless. You know how many times I want to forward? I forwarded one of them to this, and she's like, I said two things. One was why are you self-sabotaging? And the second one was one of your funny avoidant videos.
Yeah.
And she's like, thank you for sending me the first one.
My stuff triggers people so badly. So some people are getting it now, like, oh, he's being funny, but
yes.
If I go to the caption, then there's value there, and I can use that value to kind of create some self-awareness and realize that, okay, there's some things that I can do. Here's a tool for me, stuff like that. So but for the people what's that?
I wonder which is more true. If you're calling out an avoidant as an avoidant, or just telling somebody about not drinking when they have a drinking problem. So you know how many times that I'll say to somebody, I just choose not to drink, and then immediately, I don't drink that much. I'm like, I didn't even ask you, man. This I'm talking about me. That's a yellow that but I'm wondering which Who's greater?
Yeah, I mean, they're almost moving into a place of shame right away. It's definitely comparison, and then right away they're like, "Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't be drinking as much as I do," and they're self-evaluating in that context. And I can see how people would get that way, but it's the same thing with attachment styles, right? Nobody wants to admit they have an attachment style. I'm secure. Everybody's secure. Everybody says
Uh,
they're secure, right? And then it's like, okay, well, what's your texting frequency? How often do you text message people? And when you swipe right on, somebody and they start messaging, is it 24/7 texting? Do you move right into that? Because they haven't earned a spot in your life yet. So why are you giving them so much space and making them a priority when you haven't even met them yet? You've had no conversation other than what's in the app. You may not have even shared your phone number yet, but you're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That you might be a anxious attachment.
hey, I'm a recovering anxious attachment. Feel free to use that one.
Well, and the other thing is attachment styles are a spectrum, right? So it's like you can be super confident um, and secure in your business relationships. And that doesn't give you that feeling of insecurity, like, oh, I'm going to lose my job or I'm going to lose all this stuff. But then in your personal relationships, there's that fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, that things aren't going to work out because everybody leaves me or they hurt me in some way, shape, or form. And that's kind of like the subconscious story that we're telling ourselves, that our body tells us about these relationships.
So the weirdest thing in the John Gordon is the faith over fear. Um,
Hmm.
if ever I get, and I don't, it doesn't happen very often. If ever I get that a fear of abandonment or that some uncontrollable faith being comes over me that everything's going to be okay, and it's going to be more than okay. And that's probably just coming from doing the work for so long,
Yeah.
so hard. But if I even think for a second, if that magical lie pops in, like you're never going to find anybody, that lasts about a millisecond. And it's like, dude, I'm still growing, I'm still learning. And when the time is right, it'll happen. And
Yeah.
frankly, if I don't, what's the end of the world? I'll live a great life and I
Right.
won't have any chaos or nobody to answer to.
It is peaceful.
Wait, what did you call it? Interdependence. Ooh,
Hmm.
that honestly, ooh, I'm going to start using that. That is, you got to divorce the outcome and marry the process, but you still got to have a goal in mind. And interdependence is summarizes. I always say in my head, in my daily manifestations and my meditations, as I outline the life partner that I'm looking for, or that I want. I'm not looking. I'm not looking because
Well,
I'm not pushing.
the whole thing I say over and over again, and I repeat it all the time. What are your goals, values, and standards for a relationship with you? And are you in alignment with that? From that, you will then know your boundaries that you don't want people to cross. And when they start to butt up against those boundaries, are you capable of holding that boundary with that person? And when we're in the anxious and avoidant trap, it's extremely important for the anxious person to hold that boundary with the avoidant and don't allow them to cross that, because that's how you hold them accountable in the relationship. And one of two things is going to happen: they're going to reject your boundary and they're going to leave the relationship, or they're going to respect the boundary and you'll continue to build a better relationship with that person because you're keeping them accountable in that relationship.
And both are good. Both are good answer.
Oh yeah, you win either way. It's not going to feel like it if they walk away, but that's when you tell yourself, I'm not going to be outcome driven. I recognize that I'm going to be okay and that there's going to be something else out there for me. This just wasn't it. They didn't like the boundary, and it's okay for me to hold this boundary.
So who does an avoidant usually attracted to that makes them look at themselves and go, "Oh, I'm an
Well, the
avoidant." Or what makes them wake up? Who do they who are they mostly attracted to? Is it
eh,
anxious?
so what'll wake them up is that pain threshold that we were talking about. They have to hit a point of being so uncomfortable in a relationship experience or losing a relationship that they actually really wanted to be in, but they got so fearful and the anxiety hit so high, because the avoidant is also extremely anxious in relationships. They just don't show it. They appear stoic, right? They appear like they have everything in order, but internally it's this mass amount of chaos that's swirling around inside of them. And they have this fear that, that if I'm intimate with this person on a psychological level, that they're going to hurt me in some way. and then they got to go the opposite way. They got to run.
Well, you just described my last 5. That literally, you want to know the truth? Full disclosure. That's why I quit drinking, because I'm at 5 straight, and I would add a 6th in there, avoidance. And avoidant is, I don't know what it is about alcohol that, I don't know. There's definitely a correlation to drinking, having unhealthy relationship and being an avoidant, or unhealthy relationship with alcohol and finding avoidance. That's all I found. And it's crazy.
Well, the other part of it is, are you emotionally available in these relationships, or is there a certain amount of fear that you experience as well when somebody gets close that, at some point the other shoe's going to drop? They're going to do something.
When I drank, I wasn't available. Yeah. Now the 6th I was, but she wasn't.
Yeah. They're going to do something to ruin the relationship. So I'll just do it first.
Yep. It's so funny. I can see it when it comes, but I could spot it a lot sooner. Like, I mean, I just said it on a different podcast. Like this last one, she showed up at my house the first day with a bottle of wine. I don't drink. She finished the bottle of wine. So does that tell you that you're uncomfortable? You don't love yourself? I should have run, but oh man, she was so hot.
Well, and so that's what happens, right? They're extremely, the person that you're with is extremely attractive, yet they brought alcohol into the house knowing full well that you're someone who doesn't drink, and they went and crossed that boundary that you had already set, that you had already established, and they didn't respect that, and then you allowed that to happen. So now
I don't hold on, I don't interrupt you on that. I'm sorry. I don't tell people not to drink. I just choose not to drink. I am learning now that if you have over 2 drinks of alcohol in any setting, you're probably not going to be for me. And I learned it that's what I learned from that relationship. So again, take the message and leave the mess. Now, if somebody were to show up at my house with a bottle of alcohol, and it isn't that I would say no. No, if she would have poured 1 glass, capped it, and said, leave this for the next time I'm over,
great.
Fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind being around people at that drink. I just don't want to be around. I'm not going to date. I can't be interdependent with someone who is dependent on alcohol to as a crutch. And I've learned that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything against alcohol. I just choose not to drink right now. Now, if I was on vacation somewhere, would I get a foo-foo drink and enjoy my time in like Mexico or someplace else? Maybe, probably. I don't know. I haven't been put in that situation yet, but
It's
also
too funny.
not.
I'm good. Honestly, I've thought that, but it's just, I feel so good that I would never want to numb anything, even a little bit. I've been doing it for so long, I'd probably freak out and be like, I don't like this feeling. And I used to crave that feeling. Now, like, no, thank you. Yeah. I will just, because I want to be present in wherever I'm at. If I'm in a tropical island, I want to look at the colors. There's so many things that I just didn't pay attention to. Birds and signs and people and just being, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to lower my vibration in any way, shape, or form. So it's probably a no. I'd never say never. I could see myself being, 90 and saying, I think I'm going to sip on a scotch. Who knows?
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't know. I haven't been put in that position yet, and my life is good the way it is. I'm happy, and it's just not something that crosses my mind. So I just keep doing what I'm doing.
There are so many non-alcoholic options nowadays that I get the taste without the buzz, and that's all I'm one of those idiots. I love the taste of alcohol. They make whiskey that I swear to you can't taste the difference. Now, I'm big on the non-alcoholic beers, although you drink a beer and you got to pee twice for every beer that you drink. Yeah. If you drink a non-alcoholic beer, I think you got to pee 4 times. I don't know what they put in those things, but man, it's unbelievable. So I know that if I end up having a couple, even like 3, I'm going to pee 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. It's I don't have them too close to my, but like I was out.
You don't want to turn into Frank the Tank,
Well, at least I'm not going to be running around shrieking through the quads naked. Done that. Won't do it anymore.
The last question. what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, I actually, shameless plug for the book. There is a chapter called Legacy, and I want to leave the world a better place, inspire, educate, and model the behaviors of what makes my daughter proud, and make the Siegel name mean something, and know that I left a dent. Um, and the biggest thing is leaving something long after I'm gone. That's an easy one, man. That's why I'm doing all this. That's why I'm glad to take on the friendly fire, the negativity, because I'm going to make this a better place, and there's nothing going to stop me.
I
Nothing.
love that. It's all about intention, man. And eventually, those haters, they'll become people that love you too and appreciate what you're putting out there. It'll start to resonate with them. It just takes a little time.
Yeah, I'm 5 months into this. I'm loving it. And Jason, I want to make sure we run this back on the Heart and Life podcast. You're brilliant, and honestly, if there's anything I could
Appreciate
ever
you.
do to support you, I love your friend
Sabrina.
Sabrina.
Yeah.
She's
she's
hilarious.
she's hilarious.
And then she marches that tech guy out, and I'm like, oh my god, he could work.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of tech guys that work for me. I'm like, oh my god, he could be working. We got the mustache. She says what everybody's thinking. So give her
Oh,
my
100%.
give her my love, and
I will.
and say that keep doing what she's doing because she's awesome. Glad we met, man. I like you a lot.
me
You're
too.
good people. If there's anything I can do for you, please reach out.
Well, Kelly, I appreciate you, man. It's been good getting to know you and spending some time with you today.
Talk to you soon, brother.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.